Hey, it's Fox from Inferno Fox Gaming. So, as I mentioned in previous videos before, I went through sort of a gaming midlife crisis around 2019, and it resulted in me resolving to get out of my comfort zone with this great hobby and play a whole bunch of games that I've never played before. Even with spending the last 5 or more years doing this, I've noticed that I've still got a lot of blind spots with my favorite genre, the RPG. This video is inspired by fellow YouTube content creator, whom I'm lucky to call a friend, Brandon from Just the Gems. And he released a similar video on his channel, and there's going to be a link to his page and the video in the description below. I absolutely recommend checking it out. He always releases excellent quality content. Couldn't recommend it more. So let's level set first and talk about some of the series that won't appear here on my blind spots. And before my gaming life crisis, I pretty much played exclusively Final Fantasy games and then some of the spin-offs. That includes the first entry in the Mana series, Final Fantasy Adventure, that appeared on the Game Boy. I did play Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn for about half a year in 2016. And I also played the entirety of the Kingdom Hearts series and a great number of the Mario RPGs as well. Transitioning into the Nintendo RPGs, I did get into the Fire Emblem series, Golden Sun, and the Mother series. So I did play some of those. But in the last 5 years, I really branched out and got into the entirety of the mainline Dragon Quest, Ys series, and Xenoblade. I've also played a number of entries in the RPG series of Trails or Kaseki, Tales of, the Persona series, Star Ocean, and Phantasy Star. Heck, I've even played a couple of Pokemon games, which before that gaming life crisis, I swore I never would have played before. So, what is my first JRPG blind spot? What is one of the JRPG games or series that I've just never touched? My first few series are going to really be themed around the fact that I missed out on a large part of the PS1 era. I got a PS1 in 2001 and a PS2 in 2002 with the sole purpose of playing the Final Fantasy games on these consoles. Before then, I was stupidly dedicated to Nintendo and stuck with the 64, which resulted in me missing out on one of the strongest JRPG consoles. That being said, and to this effect, my first JRPG blind spot is Suikoden, the entire series. I know, I almost can't believe it myself, but this, of course, is a turn-based JRPG series from Konami. First time I actually heard about the series was through the excellent content from David Vink here on YouTube. And his RPG channel really helped to open my eyes to a lot of these great RPGs. And I'm really looking forward to the remaster of 1 and 2 that was announced so I can finally play these classic games. My buddy and Inferno Cast member, Hillbilly Hardicus, had offered to sell me the first 2 games from his PS1 collection, but I declined. I'm wondering if I missed the boat there. Another classic JRPG blind spot for me would be the Breath of Fire series. I'll admit, this is a major blind spot that Feral Inferno here on YouTube here would probably kill me for, but I tried the first entry on the NSO Switch Super Nintendo service, but had a hard time getting past the awful English translation. But I need to give this another go because these are some awesome classic turn-based JRPGs that were produced, funnily enough, by Capcom. I think Breath of Fire 1 and 2 were published by Square Enix and produced by Capcom, or maybe I got that reversed. Either way, I know Capcom had a big role in the production of Breath of Fire. And I really don't think of Capcom as an RPG maker, but they wear a lot of hats, and quite well, I might add. The last 2 entries for Breath of Fire I've heard weren't that good, with the 6th one especially being a stinker, as Capcom had tried to push it to be a mobile-only game. While I love JRPGs and the games that these publishers make, they're often beholden to certain habits that don't translate well to Western audiences. Again, such as pushing mobile games. Square Enix, I'm looking at you for still not publishing the mobile-only game Final Fantasy Dimensions on any console. Come on, please get with it. My next JRPG blind spot is the Shin Megami Tensei series. Now, yes, Persona is technically a spin-off of the series, and I've played 3 through 5, but that being said, I haven't played any of the OG. These turn-based RPGs apparently have a reputation for being really dark, which kind of surprises me considering the amount of dark content in the Persona games. So the fact that it could even get darker is kind of crazy. I own Shin Megami Tensei 3 through 5, and I don't have an excuse not to play these, not to try these. I'm still hoping we'll see remakes of Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2, their predecessors, Digital Devil Story, Megami Tensei's 1 and 2, and especially, jumping back on the Persona trade, especially getting remakes of Persona 1 and 2, which I'm hearing rumors flying around about that being a thing. Now, the second to last one that I'm going to mention that I never played, jRPG Blindspot, is Anything and Everything in the Atelier series. And I'll admittedly never heard of these until the Atelier Rise games were announced. And their box art featuring the eponymous main character made quite the impression on the internet. Beyond the anime girl eye-catching aspect of the game, they do seem like more light-hearted games with more low-stakes things in play, although the Rise series kind of look like maybe there are more things in stakes, kind of as I've done a little bit of research about the series. These are published by Koei Tecmo, and I am used to the high stakes plot points like what you see in Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, beyond the latter's puff shenanigans. Alchemy and Fetch quests do weigh fairly heavily on the overall gameplay, and I'm not sure that's going to be in my wheelhouse since I'm not too big on mixes and mixing stuff, following recipes, and then of course like inane side quests. So it seems more like cozy. But if you guys think I should give Atelier a try, let me know in the comments section below, as well as which one that I should try. I'm definitely open to it. And the last series that are in my jRPG blind spot is Etrian Odyssey. And this shouldn't be a surprise since it came out in the aughts on the DS and 3DS. As a reminder, during that time in the aughts, I focused mostly on multi-gaming in person with friends, and it meant that I slept really hard on single-player experiences for games released on that, like around that time, that weren't Final Fantasy. Now, I've also had a very limited library of games on the DS, and I dislike the 3DS quite a bit, again, primarily due to that awful circle joystick. The good news is the first 3 were remastered and are playable on the Nintendo Switch, though I did miss the boat by not picking up 4 and 5 on the 3DS when VGP.ca had them for sale last Christmas. Again, I wonder if I missed the boat on that too. So those are some of the ones that I really wanted to feature that I have a number of blind spots on, and this is by no means a totally intensive, because right off the bat I can think of a number of series like Disgaea, Lunar, Dot Hack, Wild Arms, and more that I haven't touched, like Grandia. Let's add Grandia to that as well as even individual JRPGs that are classic games like Legend of Dragoon, Radiant Historia, sorry Run, and Skies of Arcadia. Again, I could keep going. If I've got so many for JRPGs, I probably have 2 to 3 times as many Western RPGs. I mean, stuff like Baldur's Gate and everything like that I've never touched before, though I am willing to try Baldur's Gate 3. Now, let me know in the comments section below your various JRPG and Western RPG blind spots. I'd love to have a conversation with you guys about this. I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to play all of these games that are on my list, but since my gaming life crisis, I'm now more than ever apt to do so. And thanks again for watching, and have a great day.